Okay everyone, welcome back to the channel for another video on Gran Turismo 7. I'm back with highlights from the Nations race that we did last week at Sardegna A, driving around in the Suzuki VGT car that got added recently. So this is the road car version of the car. We've recently had the GT3 version. So this car was actually really enjoyable to drive, all-wheel drive. This is my qualifying lap. We're currently in P6, so we're gradually dropping down the field. You can see we're down to P7, down to P8 now. But we managed to do quite a good first sector here. So going through here, you can see you got to get that car drifting through the corners and actually on a pretty solid lap. We're in split 2 on this race. Obviously, official season, split 2. And then normally, if you carry on racing, you work your way back into top split when all the top drivers start taking their points. But yeah, pretty solid first sector there. Reasonable time, up quite a bit on my previous lap. So fast forwarding on this straight now as we come to the braking zone, braking just before the 100 board and trying to get it rotated into this corner. And now I have to say this was actually quite a fun combo. I did enjoy this race. I enjoyed the way the car drove. Some people was not too keen on the way this car drove, but for me it was pretty entertaining the way the car handled. This corner was very, very tricky, probably the hardest corner on the track, because to really take speed through the corner you kind of had to use the grass, but I was playing it safe and just trying to get a lap in here, so not taking many risks in terms of going for that ultimate lap, going for a solid exit off the corner. Got a little bit wide on the exit and that probably slowed us down by a tenth there, not getting on the throttle as early as we could have done, but not a bad lap overall. You can see we're down to P9 at the moment, and I think we actually dropped down to P10 there. You can see drop down to P10, so this lap really needs to improve a little bit as we go over the line. And it does, it actually goes a little bit faster there and puts us up to P6 at the moment. However, by the time the race started, we had obviously dropped down slightly, I think to P7 as the start. So let's play it through here, fast forwarding through the grid, and you're going to see we started in P7. So going through the grid, you can see some very fast drivers in this lobby as well. And I'm sat there in P7, standing start. There was no false start check on this race, which, again, PD keep doing this with this start like this. I find it a bit strange. I think they should really be doing false start checks for these races, unless it's because we're still early in the game life. Maybe they're just trying to get people used to stuff and gradually bringing people into the racing etiquette and stuff like that, and you know, getting used to different functions on the game. That could be a possibility. But going into turn 1, everyone brakes quite early there. I braked quite late, but luckily slowed the car down, and a fairly clean start actually. If you look back, I don't think a single, looking on the replay camera, I don't think there was a single incident or crash or anything on the first corner. It's building up behind us, so you can see there in the replay camera on the bottom right corner, there's a lot of free wides going on behind us. Luckily where I am, we're quite smooth. We're in P7 still, and now we've just got to try and keep this car going and try and see if we can work up and gain some positions in this race. Now this car was obviously quite difficult to overtake compared to when we've driven Group 3 cars at this combination in the past. For example, on GT Sport, there was a brilliant daily race, and I think it's currently on GT Sport at the moment with Group 3 cars around this combination. It is really fun and entertaining because you can hang with them. It was a little bit more difficult with this car because the grip was not as high with this vehicle. It had the all-wheel drive, which was actually really fun. I like the way it handled for an all-wheel drive car. It's probably one of the only all-wheel drive cars that I've enjoyed driving, I have to say. It really did turn into the corners, rotate through the corners. You can get a bit of a slide going through the corners, and I found this car thoroughly entertaining to drive. But you can see here, a little bit behind P6 there. They're going to go very close through here. You can see very difficult to follow right behind someone. It looks like someone's gone a bit wide there. I think that was Haku hitting the wall, and that's going to cause chaos. I have a little look up the inside here, but then I see an opportunity to go side by side with P6, and we're going to go through this corner side by side. Now we're going to accelerate out the corner, and I decided to lift. You see me lifting off the throttle because it's not worth going side by side this corner with these cars because they understeer. But the two cars in front of us decided to go side by side, and you can see one of them's made a mistake, hit the wall and lost position, and Haku's obviously lost a bit of momentum also. So yeah, played it quite safe there, decided to back out and just not really risk anything, and that's actually got us up to P5 now. So 2 places gained in P5, and we got Haku on the inside there. He's having a little look up the inside, but we've got enough of a car in front of him there to really just close the door there and carry on our way on lap 2 out of 10. So pretty solid start to the race. We've got a little bit of dust kicking up from the cars in front. They've got quite a nice gap there actually. They've got P1, 2 and 3 have managed to pull away quite nicely on that opening lap. Obviously that little mistake by Haku slowed everyone down in the braking zone and lost us a bit of momentum there. But yeah, let's see what we can do. Can we find a way to get ourselves any further up, or even trying to hold off some of these fast drivers behind us? This is going to be very, very difficult. This car, like I say, as the tyre wear kicked in, got a little bit trickier at the end of the race. In the early part, I found myself pretty okay with this car as we have a little look up the inside, but kind of defending from Haku at the same time. So looking up the inside to P4 while trying to defend that position to Haku, just to ensure that he doesn't throw it up the inside and go for a move. But yeah, I have to say I've really enjoyed a lot of the races recently on Gran Turismo 7. This one was one of them. We've had a really good daily race C with strategy this week. There was no strategy in this, but I just found the combination really entertaining. So yeah, we had some good racing in this race as well. So we make a little mistake there, running a little bit wide, and that's going to give Haku the inside line there. But I brake very, very late, just about avoid hitting P4 and keep that position for P5. So very close to crashing there on that really tricky corner, and just about made the braking zone to slow the car down. So as we get onto the main straight, again, always upshifting before we get to that corner to stop the car on the steering wide. We're going to fast forward on the straight as Haku looks like he's going to have a go for a move, but I think he decided not to battle too much and lose too much time because he was a little bit too far back. So he decided to just settle in behind us there and maybe consider going for a move somewhere else. But yeah, we're not losing touch with P4, and actually you can see at this stage we're quite far away from P1, 2 and 3. They've managed to gain quite a lot of time there, so they're pulling away. So it looks like this is going to be a battle for P4, 5 and 6, and also there's a group behind us as well with 2 more cars. So this could be quite an intense race all the way to the finish, and that's what I enjoy about this track. It really does lead to very good battles between cars, because when you're in the slipstream, you pick up that slipstream. You can have some good side-by-side moments on this track with the way the track works. But again, we're a bit too far back to go for a move into the braking. Haku's a little bit too far back to go for a move on myself. That gives me the opportunity to make sure I take the proper line through there. And at least one benefit as well, we've been a little bit further back from the car in front, is that you don't struggle on some of them corners with the blind apex. But you can see we can skip ahead now to lap 4, and P4 makes a mistake, but I follow him into the barrier. Really annoying that, because he made the mistake. If I wouldn't have made the mistake, we could have jumped ourselves up into P4. However, we followed him into the barrier, and that's give Haku the opportunity to go up the inside, and he's going to go all the way up into P5. But we're going to try and hang it around the outside there. But no, I decided to back out and let Haku up, because if we start fighting there now, I felt like the other cars behind us were going to get involved with that battle. So played it smart there, let Haku through and just take one position loss. So from a possibility of gaining a position, we actually ended up losing a position there. So yeah, a little bit of a mistake going into the barrier, but we're still in an okay position. We're in P6 and we're driving okay. Keep it safe now, and just try not to make any errors. As we see, we've actually seemed to have caught up a bit as well on one of the laps to the group in front. You can see them just up ahead. They're not too far ahead there, so it does seem that we've managed to catch a bit of pace up in this race as we're going into this right hand corner. You see Haku very close to Haku here. Are we going to be close enough to go for a move in the braking zone? You see we're getting the slipstream, having a little look up the inside, but yeah, decided not to go for that one. It would have been a little bit too risky to go for the overtake there from where we were into the braking zone. But you can see now we've also got P7 joining this battle in the yellow Suzuki there right behind us, and actually got very, very close in the braking zone. Luckily didn't hit us, but yeah, we've now got a 4-car battle for P4, so this is going to be quite entertaining. How's this going to play out as Haku goes a little bit wide through there? He gets a little bit wide on the exit. That gives me a bit better exit off the corner, but again, we're a little bit too far back to have a look up the inside here. So again, just playing the normal line, take it safe and see if we can get a strong exit from the corner. However, Haku gets a really good exit there. We were a bit delayed on the throttle there, could have been a little bit earlier. That's lost us a bit of time on the straight, and again you can see we're not in a position to go for a move into the braking zone, but luckily the car behind also was not in the position to go for that overtake there again. So yeah, again, fast forward in here as we go through this really tricky corner. Everyone takes that reasonably okay, and then into the braking zone and onto the main straight. And again you can see dropped back a little bit from Haku. Haku's right up behind P4, but he runs a little bit wide, and that's actually going to cost him a bit of straight line speed now all the way into the braking line. So can we go for a move here? We've got the slipstream. Haku's going to think about going defensive, but he doesn't. We go to the left. Can we brake late enough? Haku tries to go around the outside here now, so we're going to have to give him space on the exit, so take a really tight line through there and just about give Haku enough space on the outside. A little bit of contact there, which loses a bit of momentum as we hit the curb. We get a little bit of a bump draft from the yellow VGT car behind us, and we're going to go side by side now with Haku all the way through this section, but Haku's going to accelerate and get himself back up that inside there. So yeah, we have to accept that one and back into P6, but now we're going to have to go defensive to the P7 driver right behind us on the right hand side. He's having a little look around the outside. Can we hold an inside line here and try and get a strong exit? You can see what he was trying to do. He was trying to weaken our line into the corner so he could get a better exit off the corner and maybe go for a move on this straight. But you can see this has really benefited P4. P4 has really pulled away with this battling. So it's looking like we're going to be battling for P5 now, as P4 is pretty much out of the slipstream ranges. We have a little look up the inside of Haku, trying to go for a move side by side through here. Can we hold it on the inside? We just about give him enough space, but Haku manages to hang it round the outside there. And now we're working our way into that tricky section again. But look how close this racing is. This is why I'm really enjoying Gran Turismo 7 at the moment. Even though this race didn't have the strategy involved with it, the actual battling was really clean, really enjoyable. And I thoroughly enjoyed it, I have to say. Like, really entertaining race. I always think this track, though, gives good racing no matter what car you go in. So maybe some people's races weren't as entertaining, but I found this race really, really fun to do. So onto the main straight, starting lap 7 and over the line, not long to go now. Can we find the way past Haku? This is all about seeing if we could get past him and fight for that P5. You can see that P4 looks like he's broke away from the slipstream now, so he's pretty much gone. But Haku at this stage seemed to be struggling a little bit. I'm not sure if it was tyre wear or the hybrid fading, because our hybrid had also faded, but it could have been tyre wear related. You can see he's gone a little bit wide there. That's going to compromise him on the exit. We're going to try and get a strong exit in 4th gear. Unfortunately, we're not going to be close enough to go for a move into this braking zone, but we've got to try and look where we can go for a move. So maybe at the end of the next straight. So try and get it into the apex, onto the throttle as early as possible here, and maybe think about going for a move. As Haku again makes a little bit of an error there, getting very close to the barrier, but again we're going to be a little bit too far back to go for a move. I have a little look up the inside, and again we're not really in a position to go for a move, so we decide to back out. However, Haku goes a little bit deep. Again, that's going to give us a run, but again, we're not going to be able to go for a move, so we're just going to try and have a little look behind him, try and upset him a little bit while we're behind him, although it probably won't work, and then into this really fast left-hand corner, and just try and get as close as we can into the next braking zone. So this is another overtaking opportunity if you can get closer, but again, we're not really there. You've got to be almost side by side going into that corner to go for a move in this car, because it's very, very hard to slow this car down, and that is why this car was very difficult to go for overtakes, because it wasn't an easy car to get the speed scrubbed off. So it's not like a GT3 car or a Group 2 car where you can really send it in and get on them brakes and use the downshift and slow it down. This car struggled to slow down sometimes, but we've managed to get the outside line now, going down the straight, got a good exit off that final corner, and starting lap 8 we're actually ahead of Haku now. But I decided to brake early here, let Haku brake a little bit later, and we're going to try and go for a bit of an undercutting line and see if we can get better exit speed, which at the moment it looks like it's going to work. We're on the inside, we've got the inside to this left hand corner, and we're going to take that position up into P5, and now we've got to try and hold this position into this left hand corner. We've got the line into the corner, we're going to try and carry the speed in, and we just about get a car length ahead and cover that inside into the braking zone. So a nice little move there up into P5, and now we've got to try and hold on to this P5 finish all the way to the finish. We've got 3 laps to go. Can we find a way of keeping this car in this position? Haku behind us. Haku's obviously a very, very fast driver on Gran Turismo, so if he starts driving well, it's going to be very difficult to keep him behind, but we'll try our best. We've got enough of a gap here, I think. You can see it's around 2 tenths into the braking zone. We can obviously go a little bit defensive on the inside, make sure that he doesn't think about sending one up the inside. So yeah, take a tight line there. Haku on the outside, you can see that he's braking as late as he can, and he's trying to get a strong exit off this corner. We hold the apex, and now on the throttle into, again, this is the advantage of being ahead rather than following someone through here. You can see the corner so much better than when you're right up behind someone. Haku right behind us, and as we look behind us, you're going to see Haku turns in a little bit early into the corner, hits the wall and hits the barrier and loses a lot of time. Luckily manages to save the car and not take anyone out that's behind him, but we're now got a bit of a comfortable gap here. We've got around about a second ahead of anyone behind us, and that's going to be really handy for these last few laps. Now we fast forward the action on the straight, and we're going to go into the braking zone. You can see 2 laps to go, and we've got 1.4 second lead, which is, it gave me a little bit too much confidence. I think I backed off a little bit and didn't push as much as I should have done. As you can see, as we go over the line on the end of lap 9 and starting lap 10, we can see that the driver behind us has caught us up by 6 tenths on that lap. So was taking it a little bit too easy, but I just knew that if we didn't make a mistake, we should be okay to hold on for this P5. So tyres are fading, didn't want to overdrive it and lose a position. So again, taking it quite calmly and just trying to get this car to the finish. And this was actually really nervous at the end because he was really flying. That car behind us looked like he had done a lot of tyre saving, possibly due to being in a slipstream. So obviously on Gran Turismo, when you're in the slipstream, you can brake a little bit earlier, just lift and coast, and less aggressive on the brakes because you know you've got that slipstream to drag you back up to the car in front. So he looked after them tyres, and he's definitely gaining. You can see within 7/10 of us on this last lap, just trying to keep it nice and smooth on this last lap. Onto the throttle, got quite a good exit off the corner. He also got a good exit, and he's got that slipstream into the braking zone though, and you can see he's still around half a second behind us, so he's not going to be able to go for a move here. Again, into the braking zone, trying to get on the throttle as early as we can. Made a little bit of an error there, didn't really get the car into the apex, and he's managed to gain another 10th or so on us as we go into this really fast left-hand corner. And this was all about just taking no risk. Didn't push it, just take it nice and smooth, get that car rotated in, get on the throttle, and we do it reasonably okay. Didn't carry massive speed, but we carried enough to hold on to P5 into this braking zone. And now it's just about getting on the throttle as early as we can. You can see he's very close behind us, but we get a reasonable exit, and it's going to find it hard to get that slipstream pull from where he is. So again, this is the final corner that we have to get right. Upshifting just before the corner, running all the way to the edge of the track. We run a little bit wide there, but luckily he didn't have the momentum to actually get past us. So we managed to take P5. A really strong race. Enjoyed that one. Thoroughly entertaining race. And that was the first slot of the day, so we only did one race there and managed to come away with 326 points. So doing okay in the championship so far. Remember, if you did enjoy that video, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and let me know in the comment section how you got on and if you enjoyed that combo as well. And I'll see you again for more content and live streams. Bye everyone.